This video is for Star Trek, Core Health and Fitness, Mad Dog Athletics, Precor, and any other brand who uses Morse Taper pedals. Today's topic is removal of the Morse Taper pedal. Now, to remove the Morse Taper pedal requires this removal tool. So here we got the pedal tool, a removal tool, and in this case, the threads before this pedal was removed, the threads were cleaned out. These threads were cleaned out so that this pedal removal tool could be installed. So when the threads are cleaned out properly, you'll see right here, okay, that you'll see right here that this threads in by hand, okay, all the way by hand. If I needed a little bit of push, I could use this crescent wrench to finish the job. So the threads on this crank are good. Typically, on most indoor cycling bikes, when you've got to remove a crank and you use this threaded puller, by the way, the threads on this crank for removing the pedal and the crank arm are the same. Generally speaking, 95% of the time when you go to use this tool, it's an industry standard to remove a crank arm. It's usually no problem. That usually threads in just like this. So in this case, I'd say 50% of the Star Trek and spinning 2017, 2018, and now the 2019, I'd say 50% of the spinning brand bikes have threads that are not compatible with this tool. Now, I would say the same thing for the Star Trek bikes with the Morse Taper. So here's what happens. When the threads are not to the spec for this tool, what happens is you got to force the tool in the crank. And there's two things that happens 99% of the time. Either the threads, when you're removing the pedal, when you're trying to remove the pedal, what will happen is this tool will pull out. And so if you can see here, as you can see, we got damaged threads. So essentially, if you can't thread this tool in by hand, or if you need to have an assistance of a wrench, but you can clearly indicate that the threads are working. In this case, I knew it was not going to work. I could only thread this tool in about halfway before it just stopped. And sometimes what happens when you thread in this, when you force it in, when the threads are not matching on the crank and this tool, sometimes you'll force it in, and what will happen when you're removing the pedal, this part of the tool will break off, and it'll be broken off here. So I got another pedal I need to take off. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm doing this for a reason, because I got 50 bikes that over the next few months I'm going to need to pull off and exchange pedals. All right, so here we go. Moment of truth. Okay, threading in. Is it threading in? Threading it. It's a little bit tough. Okay. It's a little bit tough, but I'm going to get the wrench here. I get the wrench. Just needs a little bit of help, so this is going to work fine. So, anyway, here's my situation. This is first generation bike with Morse Taper pedals. And so this is real world scenario. So we have a first generation bike with this new technology, all right? So the customer and the bike tech that's in the field okay, is half the bikes that when we have to change pedals, we've got this issue with the threads not being compatible. Look at this. I can unscrew this, no problem. I can unscrew this, no problem. So here's the issue. This is industry standard tool to remove this pedal. However, because of the quality of the threads not matching the tool, you can't get the pedal off. So here's the situation. Essentially, when I run into this, I don't want to keep breaking tools and ruining tools. When I run into a situation where the threads aren't compatible, I just want to install a new crank and new pedal because I don't want to keep breaking the tools. Unless Star Trek wants to credit us for a warranty at $80 an hour. Now, also one more detail. For Precor and Mad Dog Athletics, spinning brand, the same issue is happening on the 2019. In this case, I had the issue on a rally. And I will attach that video. I will attach that video to this video.